Yo, what's up folks, MTG here, and today we're looking at Golgari Midrange. Bit of a different take on the deck, and the thing that maybe sticks out like a sore thumb here is Deathrite Shaman. If you're familiar with the history of Magic, but okay, you can look at Pioneer or Explorer for the first time, Deathrite Shaman might be a bit of an oddity, because it's like banned in almost every other format. But we don't have the fetch lands from Kazatok here, that would otherwise be in the format. They are banned in Pioneer and so not legal in Explorer. Because Deathrite Shaman is a really powerful card, but one of the most powerful abilities on it is the ability to get extra mana, and is the one that is the hardest to achieve in the format. And we have to kind of make do with what we have, which is Fable Passage, and we're also playing Riveter's Outlook. 4 copies of each. So Fable Passage, you've got 3 other lands in play, so 4 lands total. When you sacrifice it, the land comes into play untapped, otherwise it comes into play tapped. Riveter's Outlook, enter the battlefield, and then sacrifice it itself to find a swamp, or forest card in this case, but could also find mountains. And then you gain a life. The land comes into play tapped. Neither of these particularly efficient, however, alongside Deathrite Shaman, we have some other cards that we want to get, both lands in our graveyard, which these help with, alongside multiple land drops in like the same turn, which obviously you can't normally do without somehow cheating your way around it. And so here we are. The list's been doing pretty well so far, and I will be playing some random games here after as well. So, we've got our 4 copies of Deathrite Shaman. The other things we have at 1 are 4 copies of Fatal Push, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, hey, kind of the best black cards in the format. They're here to stay. We have some extra ways in this deck to trigger Fatal Push, both with extra lands and things like clues from Tireless Tracker, making it an even more efficient removal spell than it would normally be. And then lastly at 1 we have 1 copy of Traverse Evenwald. Putting lands in the graveyard, nice, obviously like instant sorceries. We also have a few artifacts and of course creatures, and so Traverse, we have ways to turn it on. The one thing I'll say, and the only reason why we're playing 1 as opposed to like 4, is that you never really want to draw multiples. If you're ever casting it for a lay of land that's bad, you could tinker around with upping the count here, but we're just playing 1 as a like, hey, if we draw it, we can use it as a like tutor for whichever bullet we want. At 2 copies of Record of Bankbuster. We're playing mid-range deck in the format. Hey, we don't have like Bloodtide Harvester and Black-Green. Record of Bankbuster is one of the best things we can do, but we do want to have some other cards to kind of apply pressure to our opponent. And those are Scavenging Ooze and Misery's Shadow. Misery's Shadow in particular is like a really nice hedge against some of the sacrifice decks. The ability to kind of like, if an opponent creature would die exile instead, turns a bunch of those things off, which is pretty nice. Scavenging Ooze, Graveyard Hate versus Grease Fan, that kind of thing. Gets you some Interdate to light gain in the deck as well being like a reasonable 2 mana threat that scales pretty well into the late game because you'll have stuff in the graveyard to eat. And then some removal to kind of shore things up. 1 single copy of Shieldred's Edict, 1 Heartless Act, and 1 Go for the Throat, kind of supplementing the Fatal Pushes that we are already playing. At 3, there's a lot going on here. So we've got 2 copies of Graveyard Trespasser. If you're familiar with the Rat Dust deck, does very similar things here. Very hard, well, not hard to deal with, just costly to deal with. It's almost always a 2-for-1, and your opponent has to kind of like pick a card out of their hand if they want to play a removal spell on it, and it can always like how to trade fairly well in combat. The other creatures we're playing, we have 3 copies of Tireless Tracker. And this is one of the main things we're doing to take advantage of all of these Fable Passages and Riveter's Outlooks. Every time you play a landfall ability, investigate so you get a clue, and just starts building up a bunch of card advantage. Super nice. Those clues also again trigger Fatal Push, give you some nice ways to find cards. Then we have a single copy of Murder Strider. This is one of the things you can kind of like bullet tutor for with Traverse if you draw into it. But I wanted an extra like answer for different Planeswalkers. I did have a Baleful Mastery in here, but decided the Murder Strider is a little cheaper, and also has the upside of being able to like play it as a like life-thinking creature later on. It's not totally dead versus aggro. You can like play it out, gain some life back. It's very solid. 1 single copy of a Glister Sunslayer. Has a lot of utility on it. Does slice and dice. First strike Death Touch. Nice combination there. Whenever it does combat damage to a player, choose 1. Either you draw a card and lose a life. Nice. Destroy target enchantment. There's some nice targets with that, like Fable, the Mirror Breaker. Or remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. The first 2 modes are probably more relevant, but hey, all potential for some good stuff. Then we have some Planeswalkers here at 3 as well. 2 copies of Liliana of the Veil. And of Ye Old Faithful, just the staple in like the traditional like black-green rock decks that we used to see in Modern. +1 attack opponent's hand. We have to discard as well. Hey, one of the things with these mid-range decks is that depending on the matchup, there's going to be a bunch of cards that you draw that you don't necessarily want to cast. Like versus aggro, you necessarily want to cast Thoughtseize if you draw on like turn 5. Versus other decks of the format where you're just top decking, you probably also want that. But similarly, versus control decks, you want to pitch your Fatal Pushes. You don't really want to. You've got no targets for them. No problem there. And then that -2 target player sacrifices a creature turns Liliana into basically always a 2-for-1, even if it's just soaking up some damage. And the -6 is pretty brutal to separate into 2 piles of permanents, and then they have to pick 1 to sacrifice. Solid. And we're also playing 2 copies of Wrenn and Realmbreaker. 1 green comes in on 4 loyalty. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any colour, which is actually relevant sometimes with things like Fable Passage, where you can like keep lands in play to then later on sacrifice them to Tireless Tracker. it's like a good, a nice, neat synergy. +1 up to target, one target land becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste on its turn. It's a land. Doesn't untap it let it does let you let you play random pressure planeswalkers, but you need the lands already in play. The real thing that here we're taking advantage of is the -2 mill 3 cards and put a permanent card from among the mill cards into your hand. Whether that is a Esseka's Chariot, one of our amazing creatures, whether it's a Reckoner Bankbuster, or even buying back lands to then reuse with Tyler's Tracker, all pretty good things to be doing. -7, you get an emblem, you can play lands and cast permanent cards for your graveyard. Obviously really, really good if you do ever get there. And then kind of tying things together at 4, 2 copies of Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Format All-Star. Yeah, not too much left to say. Just amazing card. And 2 copies of Esseka's Chariot. We were pretty heavy on 3, and so we decided to not play too many 4-drops. I was thinking about stuff like Storev, which is a nice kind of thing that you can use to cycle permanents and the creatures from your graveyard. Also, one of the things that in my initial build, you could go a bit more in on Traverse and play you can be really spicy, Titania and Argoth. Pretty cool, but I wanted to be a bit more consistent here, be a little bit more disciplined. But there's some potential for shenanigans like that as well. The mana base then. So, we are building around these 4 Riveters outlooks and 4 copies of Fable Passage. To that end, we have 3 forests and 5 swamps for a total of 8 basics. 1 for each. You could actually potentially maybe cut down to 7, play some more duels. The only actual dual land we're playing is Blooming Marsh. It's just really, really nice to be able to cast Thoughtseize on turn 1 while giving you green sources in play. 1 Takamima, 1 Beseiju, just great utility lands. 2 copies of Hive the Eye Tyrant, utility land of choice. I think Lair is fine if you want to play one, but Hive casting Thoughtseize on turn 1 and Fatal Push early is really important. So 2 copies of Hive. Plus, if you're it's cheaper to activate, kind of. And then lastly, a Castle Locthwain. It's great with Sheoldred, but hey, some nice card advantage here. And because we're playing 4 Fable Passage, 4 Outlook, 5 Swamps, we actually have a bunch of Swamps in our deck to make the 10th of the battlefield untapped. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So, the sideboard, and then we'll hop into the best 3 ranked actions. So alongside those 4 copies of Thoughtseize in the main deck, we have some extra dresses in the sideboard for combo. We have 2 copies of Radiant Enfeeblement versus Greasefang, things like Mono White Aggro, Angels, all good matchups for it to bring in. 2 copies of Sorin the Mirthless alongside a Sheoldred for some of the more mid-rangey stuff. The Sheoldred also comes in against, the Sorin's also coming against control, whereas the Sheoldred less good at there, but just extra threats. Sorin obviously makes a threat and then starts drawing a ton of cards, and then Sheoldred, ETB, each opponent attacks a non-token creature or planeswalker, is like a 2-for-1, but also presents this real nice upside, where if you do fit eventually get the requirements, you can flip it. And so 5 exile that returns to the battlefield, only if your opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard, which, hey, there's some potential for. But then you get this amazing saga, for each opponent disrupt of 1 target creature or planeswalker control, and then they discard 3 cards and mill 3 cards, and then you put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield. Okay. Kind of living the dream, but is a nice 2-for-1, also has menace, attacks through some stuff, just an alternate threat that you can bring in from the board. Along those lines as well is the Reckoner Backbuster. We've got the 3rd copy. For Graveyard Hate, we have 2 copies of Unlicensed Husk, for some artifacts and enchantment disruption. So we have Terra Sun, which can also come in some other matchups, because it does have the 4-mana ability to be able to exile non-land permanents if you're in some real binds. Or alternatively, we also have a Casualties of War, which comes in against green and some other decks, things like Fires it's really good against as well. We're just like, right, we have some ways to, we're playing 25 lands and have some acceleration with Deathrite Shaman. Just dropping Casualties on turn 5 to blow up a pile of stuff is awesome. Yeah, can be pretty game breaking. Same in some of the mid-range mirrors. Okay, solid there. And then lastly, sweepers in the form of Extinction Event. I did at one point have Massacre here as well, but I decided to cut down, just play the 2 sweepers. We have a decent amount of removal versus aggro, and some ways to gain life back. I feel that's solid, but Extinction Event's kind of the one of choice here, because we're playing some of our creatures. And again, versus Mono Green as well, you can get that 1/3/5 curve of Llanowar Elf, Orgrimmar Troll, Cavalier of Thorns, and just say goodbye, and then none of it gets its dice abilities either, which is pretty awesome. So, let's hop into some ranked games. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate it, and yeah, let's go. Alright, first match here with the new Golgari Midrange. Yeah, this is about the best Deathrite Shaman deck I think I can build. You have some interesting things with the sequencing early. Obviously, you're playing a bunch of lands that do potentially enter the battlefield tapped, and so it's a case of is that worth it? We're trying to kind of make up things. Tyler's Tracker is my favourite Magic card ever printed, and so any excuse to play it I'm happy to take. But is it worth it? We're not playing loads of 2s, which means like between Deathrite Shaman, Thoughtseized, Fatal Push, we can easily go one drop on a tap land if we need to get one of these outlooks out of our hand, for example. Like here, for example, led with Irrigated Farmland, we plan on probably never cast this Fatal Push, given that. But still, we have like 3 on tap land. There's an element of, like, definitely we want to save one of these outlooks, but maybe getting the first one out now, so that if we draw into a good 4-drop, or even a potential 2-drop card that we want to play, we can just run this out and not have to worry about that later on. And I will find a swamp. Alright, cool. So yeah. We then are using Deathrite to potentially make like 4 drops on turn 3. If you go like Deathrite plus one of these lands, something. Opponents occasionally also put lands in their graveyard, but that's a bit more of a pipe dream. So then we have the Shoulder, but we can happily carry on kind of sequencing things out. That all being said, we have a pretty slow hand, and versus blue-white, or what potentially could be blue-white field. So they've not played anything to convince me that yet. Like this could be a Beholder Beyond, but it's most likely a Doomscar. We'll see how things go. It could also be the counterspell, but those are 2 most likely things. Given the tap land, I imagine it's probably a counterspell. But hey. Interesting things. Obviously, we don't have a 3-drop to play either. We just keep a pretty slow hand, but one with lots of interaction. Got a little punished that we're not playing against an aggro deck here. But hey, you can Thoughtseize now, clear the way to potentially land a Soul Dread next turn. Let's have a look. So the strict proctor means that they are playing Lotus Field. The best card in their hand is Teferi. We're currently not attacking any creatures to worry about. Wandering Emperor. They have no counter spells. We could also take Impulse. If we take Impulse, they probably do end up cycling the Shark Typhoon. They don't currently have a 4th land. It's interesting. Which is the only thing that makes me not just snap off the Teferi. Maybe do you want to take Impulse here? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna hedge a little bit. If this is a Beholder Beyond, we get horribly punished. Behold the Multiverse, the draw 2. Discard 2. But hey, and we're saving the Riveter's Outlook to hopefully pair up with the Tireless Tracker to make a couple of clues for us to draw some cards. And yeah, they're gonna have to commit the Shark Typhoon. If I was a little bit more worried about them maybe casting this later on, we would take this instead of the Impulse. The Impulse gets them exactly what they need. If this is... Oh my god, they drew into Lotus Field. Naturally, they didn't even have to Impulse for it. Get me out of here. Oh, the way the sequence is, we don't even have an opportunity to interrupt with the Fatal Push. Sadly. It's still, they can go play this and they've got priority to play the land and get the trigger with the Strict Proctor, even though we have the push. I will push it away just because it uses our mana, but, hey. We have 1 mana open, so we will just run out the Shield Dread. We want to be careful attacking with it, of course, because they've got Wandering Emperor. But from our perspective here, they're going to go Slam Teferi, untap the Lotus Field, have a bunch of mana open on our turn, and we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And this could still, and likely is a Doomscar. Given that build earlier. Interesting. Okay, maybe it's not a Doomscar. Alright, we don't have this online yet, but we have a land to actually... Well, that's not going to do it. Are they minus as well? Oh, this is so weird. Because they might... if they plus, they have so much mana untap, which means they don't have a counter spell. Right? It would be foolish not to just swift down the Teferi. So let's make sure that's in the ground. Because Teferi untapping Lotus Field is really, really powerful. We definitely don't want to traverse or Riveter's Outlook because we know that the Shield Dread's here. So we're just going to make the Deathrite Shaman and we'll pass. Again, we still want to save this Riveter's Outlook for a Tireless Tracker later on, hopefully. The game's likely to go on for quite a while, but hey. Yeah, Deathrite can put in quite a bit of work over, like, a number of turns. We're going to be doing 2 to them perpetually for a bit. Though we need to be a little careful about the Wandering Emperor. What do they actually have here? They're just going to march it. That's fine. One of the things with Deathrite is it leaves us... It is, like, one of the few cards in the deck that is vulnerable to play the Murderous Rider. Things like Fatal Push, Buncrusher Giant, which is something you normally don't have to worry about. You're pretty, not immune, but pretty safe to those cards. Obviously, Fatal Push can be triggered off. Buncrusher Giant is still like a 4-3.
We must protect the people.
But hey, those are some of the best cards in the format. Alright. Do I want the Modus Rider on the bottom? The answer might be yes. What are we missing? We've got instance of land, mana untap. I still don't think this is the counter spell. Maybe they've drawn into a counter. We also can kill this attack, but yeah. So no shelter's coming. I think that is okay. Alright, we can't attack here, but hey, we have some safety for the time being. And if they wrath us away, then hey, we get the creature too. See how it goes. Okay, there's the Doomscar. The Murder Shadow goes on the bottom, which means that now we actually can tutor for it with the Traverse to kill the Wandering Emperor, or any other potential planeswalker they could play. Do we actually draw though? Land. We can also Gabbard in the Shoal-Dread. That'll be fine. Oh, actually. The best thing is maybe a Tireless Tracker. Given we have the Outlook as well. Let's see if this resolves though. Let's just think about it logically for a second. We have listen. Yeah, I think that while Shoal-Dread is obviously putting some pressure on, and the Graveyard Trespasser like is a bit hard to deal with. We reveal a Tireless Tracker. We'll get a few cards out of it. Feel pretty good. Of course, we do still need to resolve the Tireless Tracker. Alright, neat. So, and here, you can see, land into the battlefield, get a trigger, get a clue. Sacrifices. Let's go find a basic. In this case, we'll grab another swamp. Actually, no, I'll get a forest. We don't have double green. Wait, that's dumb. We don't have... Anyway. That is that we have the swamp in hand, and we have more black sources anyway. Occasionally we need double green for that one card. The Planeswalker, the green Planeswalker. Ren. But that is not as important. Okay. So tricky one here, because they have a lot of mana. We have some interesting draws here. We're on 13, which is not, you know, fantastic. Just sacrifice one of these. The problem is if we attack and they've got another Wandering Emperor, we're like in a bit of trouble. But we've got a few cards. We maybe just need to make them use some resources. I don't know if we can actually wall up behind this. Maybe it does get big enough. If they're sending second Wandering Emperor and we just sit here, they go down, take this again, get another 2/2, and they've got a new Wandering Emperor coming in, like we can never actually attack. We have to make them use some stuff. We can attack this way. If they double block, I'll just use a removal spell on one of the tokens. I expect to see that. The removal spells are not up to much here, so we're just going to try and go to throw one of these. The Wandering Emperor being on 1 actually makes this attack viable, so it was on 2 or more, and be able to just exile Tireless Tracker. Okay. They do have a second Wandering Emperor. I wonder what mode they're going to use. I assume they're just going to exile it, but they could try and get fancy and give their token. Oh, they are. Alright, Heartless Act. No counters. I mean, they do still get to exile the Tireless Tracker, but they have to then use their next activation on it. And we've had a couple of cards. Sadly, we've got a little flooded here. We are playing 25 lands, but yeah. Temporary Lockdown does pick up the clue tokens. That's a nice answer for that. Oh, that's rough. Okay, Lily's not terrible. I may as well play an untapped land first, just in case there's some shenanigans. Let's both discard. Alright, hitting the Temporal Lockdown's okay. But they now have Castle Ardenvale. Which will press Liliana. They can either choose to make counters, sorry, make a token here, or they can start taking up on this to try and get the Liliana dead. This is interesting. trying to... I guess if they want to keep Hearts in hand, then it makes sense to try and grind through the Liliana. Okay, Dream Troll is pretty great. We needed to draw a removal spell this exact second. Isn't living. I guess I down tick.
Sorry, I'm not interested. I've always hated crowds.
Oh dear. Yeah, if we draw a removal spell that turn, we can at least get the Dream Troll out of there. But we are sadly going to die to this. I'll give it a turn cycle, but we have no real way to answer this now. They can token up with Wandering Emperor, they can token up with Castle Vale, and they're drawing into pretty good cards. Okay, Castle's not terrible. This is I'm gonna activate this, because there's something else for a city. Alright, we got very flooded. But that does also happen here. Alright. The Saurons come in, additional threats. The Shield Dreads actually do take the Planeswalkers out, which makes it, you know, not too bad. We do like the Dresses, the Bankbuster. I'm not going to bring Casualties of War, or the Terror of Sunders. They should be boarding out their temporary lockdowns. They're not actually very good against what we're doing. Maybe we bring one of these in for Mize. It does deal with the Planeswalkers as well. Okay, in terms of what we are cutting. Yeah. Trespass is not very good against the types of removal that we might have. In that they're largely just, they don't have a ton of spot removal, so the ward's not doing anything. It is a bit inefficient. So it's unlike the list of things to cut. We're at 67. We have a little bit of a choice here of whether we're cutting which removal spells we're leaving in, if any. The Edict obviously hits Planeswalkers, which is pretty nice. We don't have... The Dream Trawler is a trap, we can't really kill it, but the Edict is the one spell that maybe does snag it. The Misery Shadow is not fantastic, but does, like, with the fire breathing, threaten to just kill them. What's he? Yeah, we like Liliana. The Murder Strider, I think, stays. Yeah, so you've got Murder Strider, Terror Sun, some interaction. Anything I want to cut over a Trespass? Definitely not that. I think Trespass is the next one. It could be Scavenging Use. Having earlier threats is actually better. Just lower our curve a little bit, because we have now... We've gone from 4 cards that cost 4 more mana to 7. But hey, we had lands to cast them last game, so should work out, hopefully. Alright, let's run it back. I do love a Dream Trawler. But, hate to be on this side of it. I will play. We've got Thoughtseize. Interesting. This might be a Lay of the Land game, so that we don't have to, so we don't force ourselves into, like, so we get to say the Riveter's Outlook for this Arts Dragon. Sorry, words and things. I'm trying to think how much information we give away. It's actually probably better to Thoughtseize on turn 2. There's nothing they're doing on their turn 1 that actually will... That we basically want to make sure we've got the most possible time to interact with Strix Proctor Lotus Field if we have it. But if they... Words, if they have it. I'll go to Forests, given the Realm Walker in our hand. Ooh, slightly punished because we drew the Duress. But I think we just sequence the same anyway. I'll Thoughtseize just in case, again, the Proctor draw is pretty strong. We still wait to interact with it. Okay, Veto, lock down the Fairy, and we know that they have... We know there's a... Our hand is not susceptible to the temporary lockdown almost at all. I think we just take the Veto for now and plan to make sure we duress the Teferi in time. Okay, cool. So far, so good. Also, let's do some weird stuff. I don't quite just want to run outside this track here. I'm gonna play this Red of the Outbreaker, and I am gonna pick up on non-land permanent. Right, let's not accidentally do something stupid. It is hexproof, so we're kind of safe that way. If they'd randomly, like, foretold on turn 2, I'd be afraid of this because it gets Doomscarred, but it doesn't get destructible, does it? No, it does not. Vigilance hexproof haste. Just so we're all on the same page. Alright, they didn't draw into discontinuity, which is the other way to do this. That's cool. They're 3 mana, going to 4 mana. Give me another turn before they can cast Fairy. Okay, the thing about the Outlook is that if we sequence this way around, we can tick up here, attack with a Swamp, which is Vigilance, and then we'll also be able to address them. And then we do this next turn. What do you draw into? Double Teferi is miserable. Again, this takes the clues, but I'm not as worried as I could be. We'll get rid of one of the Teferis. Hopefully we just get to beat the other one down. Ren's not my favourite draw, but, okay. Okay. A lot of pressure. Do this first. If they drew, like, Wandering Emperor, you get some interesting spots here. Or... I've not seen a set of the wreckage in a while, but I'm still super, super wary playing against these blue-white decks. The Lotus ones in particular, it's pretty potent in. Yeah. Plus on. We're not going to give the Hive away.
Please, buy us more time.
Wandering Emperor. We could sacrifice. I think I do want to do that because I don't really want to commit the shoulders to the board and face getting top deck Supreme Verdict or similar. They're just going to clone this, aren't they? If they copy this and then go into Teferi, we're in trouble. Maybe we just play Teferi Wrath. We're trying to ultimate Ren and Ren and Realmbreaker anyway. I think we don't sacrifice, just slam the Shield Dread, put on as much pressure as possible, and then, like, worst to worst, we just ultimate this thing next turn. Which is pretty strong, I think. Yeah, they're just going to copy up, which is why I think this is okay. Alright. Down to 9. We also have, like, Hive going on. We need some real nonsense.
I won't hide from the wood. Hurry.
Yep, and take 2. Love that. Did not draw into a March, okay. No reason to attack with Shoulder, but I probably will attack with Tireless Tracker and... Okay, they're going to concede that one. Nice. Okay, we're throwing the ultimate with Ranan as well. I think I like how we sideboarded. Maybe. The only thing is like removal for like Proctor, but I think we just kind of have to. Hey, we've got the hand disruption for the other bits. You can't really. Proctor's like the only place we can really interact with the quote unquote like combo. Do you want something for that? We could cut a trespasser to leave him like one extra piece of interaction. I don't hate it. Having like one thing. Right, so the things it's hitting are tokens and Manland. Proctor. Those will be a fail. Alright, I'm gonna do that. Again, we're super clogged on 3s, so I think that's the best place to cut from. And Trespass is just not really gaining us anything. It has like a mini shield against Wandering Emperor, but Wandering Emperor is already so good anyway. This is turn 1 Deathrite. I'm going to obviously go into it. Turn 1 Deathrite, turn 2 can go Overlook into Bankbuster. Okay. That is better, I think. Alright. The shenanigans and stuff. We also have the potential... Oh, we actually... Excellent. There's no way to actually respond to it, so we just straight up push this away. But in the same way, there's no way to get like a land here. So I think we set this up for next turn. Potentially play a 4-drop. And just attack with a Deathrite. We find the swamp. There's more things we want to double black for overall. Yeah, hey look, we've got a land in the graveyard for Deathrite Shaman. And without the Proctor, if they want to go Lotus Field, then they have to put land in the graveyard too. So it's also good in here particularly. Alright. And now, like, hey, we haven't got the hand disruption. I'm gonna get in this like no guts no glory situation with Ren. Upside of sticking this, we have to pay Deathrite mana for it anyway. I think we just go Bank Bust. VO is fine. I slam the second one. I don't think so. Also, that does actually like turn the Deathrite into an attacking threat, potentially. All right. Let's see though. Cycle Shark Typhoon in main phase. Okay, so they have 4 like spells in hand, which is not exactly what we want to see. Our turn here is going to be playing the Glisser, so we may as well get in the reds. Oh yeah, that doesn't work. This is Crew 3, not Crew 1. It's not actually Smuggler's Cops on steroids. It feels bad. Into the red zone. Play the Glisser out. There you go. We could have played this Crid. Probably it. Yeah, it was bad. We should have just played this main phase, like, and then do this up. Me dumb. Alright. It looks like they've not... They could be... Six cards. The problem with this is that if they start drawing lands, I'm gonna march the Deathrite. Wild. I guess that's an option they have. So, the problem is that when they start drawing cards, they're gonna have a bunch of spells in hand. That is pretty relevant, actually. Okay. Let's just leave with Duress, see what they got. Farewell, Deluge. Fairy. We can't take both Deluges, and so one of them's probably going to get through. And take it to Fairy. Just reduce the number of those. We also have Terra Sun that we can potentially answer it with. The weird one, we do actually want to attack with Glisser. If they block here or not. They are going to block, prevent us drawing a card. Fair enough. I think I do this main phase. Because we also would like to draw land. Do not. Alright. Probably a Doomscar. We don't want to commit more to the board. You have Thoughtseize another Teferi, which seems pretty good here. Meantime, and then like draw with Bankbuster. Just attack first, see what we... Draw, can't lose it. Yeah, and these matchups here, now we have the Marsh. I think we play this still. Go Thoughtseize. Look to snag the Teferi, get that out of there. And just say, go. Happy enough playing, ooh, that's annoying. Happy enough playing Glisser Sunslayer Delver until they use this Doomscar. Alright, there's the 4th land. That's going to let them do a pile of stuff next turn. Mostly memory deluge for more lands, but hey, just for anything. Very certain that's a Doomscar. Okay, this is good. This is some options. I kind of want to save this Besagi. This is the Blooming Marsh does let us go red. Yeah, let's do that. I don't want to fall too far behind on mana. Is the only other thing.
Fight for every plane. My voice beckons to all worlds.
Draw a card and lose a life. Gotta grind them out here. Obviously, they've gone pretty unlucky with getting like stuck on lands, but that's fine. We're either dress here or drawing. We actually don't necessarily want to dress any of these cards. You'd rather dress what they get off of this. They go. Ooh, we do lose this if they do Doomscar. But black mana resolve. Activate. You will get our pilot. They're at 9. Are they gonna march here? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a token. It's a token. Get too excited. Tick up on AG.
I must fight back.
They're at 6. Actually, we have the mana for it. While we have a round, we should grab this, I think. And then I want to Lily. Yeah. Okay. The way it's actually played out, I ended up wanting to be able to do this, which is kind of miserable because we've done a bunch of extra damage. But not. It's just a reminder to take it a little slower. We should just go around, actually. Even Terra's under, it's a pretty flexible app. And so, yeah, we could have just crewed this up here if we just played Tidal Tracker first. We had all the information, I should have just decided what line I wanted to play before moving to combat and attacking. But I just kind of went through it. Yeah.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Okay, cool. Am I stalling? Yeah, I kind of am. They can make a token with your castle, but
My voice beckons to all worlds.
if they do that, I will just terrace or murder strider it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I missed some damage there. That was pretty poor, that match. But other than that, hey, deck's performing well. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, match number 2. Yeah, it was a pretty long one. We'll see how long this one is and whether we play another one after or not for this set. Be on the play. Deathrite Thoughtseize all the lands in the world. I think we mulligan. But it is definitely on the lines of a hand that I might have kept before they changed, before the most recent set of mulligan. On the tireless track here, maybe not actually. Maybe on the murder shred. No, if in doubt, we can always get it back with traverse, right? Not actually true, but hey. I'm kind of gonna shuffle into the deck though, just to make sure we've got enough we have a land for turn 3. Because there's a non-zero chance we want to cast a Edict on turn 2. Alright, cool. Damn. What's going on over there? Oh, this deck is so prevalent. It's just everywhere. Just leave me alone. If we take Disruption, they just can't... Oh no, they've got a pathway, okay. I'll take the proc to stop them doing, like, shenanigans. We also can't play Tracker into this open mana, which is the Deathrite Shaman. Not a terrible draw, because we can actually play that into it. Kinda neat. Cool. There you go. We might even at some point get to snag the Dream Troll of the Shoulder Receiver. It'd be a pretty feel-good moment. No way to do. I wish. We have to get through the strict proctor at some point, so... maybe this is silly. Okay, no, I'm gonna let this happen. Fine. I mean, they still get this, which is the problem. Yeah, because of that we don't get any tasty lands to the graveyard to ramp us to death, right? They're gonna play one of these. We haven't seen a 4-drop for them to these, but let's just get it in between Disruption. Yeah. Okay. We're not in an awful spot, but obviously them having 5 of the 6 mana they need is not great. The idea here is that we're saving the old Edicts in the hopes that we get to like draw into Fatal Push for the Proctor, that we'll still be able to Edict away the Dream Troller. Okay. They clear the way for us, which means next turn maybe we get to get them. However, they could also just go Shot Typhoon, at which point we lose the game on the spot. And they have 2 of them. You're obligated to make it at least so that there's only 1. But, yeah. Okay, Sense is getting cycled. We have answers to the Dream Troller, we just don't have any answers to Shot Typhoon at the moment. See what actually happens. Please just slam Dream Troller. Please. Do it. You know you want to. You know you need to. Okay, well.
I'm not gonna sit this one out.
Okay. We could snipe this, but I'm still like, we still just... These cards both say you lose the game on them. Thespian Sage, fine for now. Okay. So, we need to have a few things happen. We need to fade some draw steps, firstly. Ooh, Thoughtseize is good, but not fantastic. Because Murderous Rider here, then they slam this. I really need them to play the Dream Troller before the Shot Typhoon. And for them to tap the Dream Troller. If this card is absorbed, we kind of just lose. Because they've got the Teferi for all the extra mana. They can kind of just do everything they want. Okay. Not the worst. Now they have a lot of mana. They can kind of still cycle Shot Typhoon to make a token to protect the Dream Troller, which is also not fun. Okay. Shot Typhoon, yeah, Dream Troller first. No problem. I'll try Thoughtseize. They might not immediately look to cycle Shot Typhoon here. If they do, obviously it's get. Oh, thank goodness. Non-token creature. Okay, sick. Do you play the Blooming Marsh? No. The counter spells, the mana doesn't matter. We draw for Children, it's like, oh yeah, that goes better. But hey. Okay, the Strict Proctor, we know they've verdicts in hand. Have to do what we can to play around that. We still kind of have to summon the Silas Tracker, but the Silas Tracker does at least force them to look to use the Supreme Verdicts. Oh, get out of here. Ah, that's annoying. I forgot it's a permanent enter the battlefield. I should have remembered, because that's literally what it's not just like... It's not just that... It's a weird one because it's the enter the battlefield trigger of something else rather than the permanent enter. So it feels a bit different. Alright, so it's to pay 4 mana for our clues. Okay. I'll pay. How annoying. Attack. So I can make a token with the Ardent Veil, because we know they've got Supreme Verdicts, we're kind of safe versus the other stuff. I'm just going to let this through. You have to choose basically between sacrificing it. Wait, does this trigger here? No, it's not an untapped trigger. We want to get as much advantage out of the Silas Tracker as we can before they verdict. You should let this happen. Just go end sun. And then we can use this mana to pay for this. You have you have a count, a token. You're on 11 actually. That's a little worrying. But they can't. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Interesting. I'll find a forest. We'll pay for the ability to resolve. We have a couple of lands. Let's sack one of these before we decide whether we're playing a land or not. This is also into battlefield ability. Just get me out of here. I think that's fine though. This at least blocks all the tokens. Let's see if they want to race and just like let this through. They do. I think we just miss out on ability on one of these. Sure. Yeah, fine. Alright, the Scry 2 is pretty big. If they Wrath here, they get rid of the Sprite Rod to their tokens. Silas Tracker obviously goes in the bin, Silas Tracker goes on the bottom. It could be worse. They are going to burn it. It's going to happen eventually. We managed to get a few cards off the tracker beforehand. Maybe you should have tried to hide behind it, but I don't think it. The Prox is also super annoying when it's in the play. Decklist first. It does also mean that this card's probably good. I didn't see exactly how they scried. Okay. One thing about Ardent Veil is that at this point, because they've got so much mana, they can just don't have any graveyard. They can just Ardent Veil. They can just use castles to infinity. This is annoying. Okay. Two on top? No. No. Stop that. Alright. This one has probably escaped us. If they show us like actual real cards, then I will probably just draw land. This costs us life as well. Upside is that this in theory gains its life, so there's a Strict Proctor here. We can eat these. One What are they actually drawn into? Like, Shark Typhoon's pretty GG. Even just, like, playing it here, they can cycle it for, like, 12. Alright. They left both of them on top. What are they doing with them? This takes us to 9 now. Fatal Push is not useless in this situation. Tell me they didn't leave Sensor on top of their library. Tell me that is not what they did. Okay, Deluge seems more reasonable. Lots of really good hits to them. And they can flash it back straight away. This is the best dig through time you'll ever see. In this situation where they have infinite mana. Okay. Yeah, look at the top 4, pick 2. Look at the top 7, pick 2. Is pretty good. New Teffers. Big Teff.
If you show remorse, I'll. We need to move quickly.
Okay. Maybe I should play more best of one just to try and avoid. I feel like you get a more diverse range of matchups, but that's also just like pretty results based given we've played two games of a set here. Oh, they're just gonna discontinue. Ah. Leave it there. Let's go to game 2. I would feel pretty bad about posting 1 hour of black green into blue white. Would I? It's just classic modern gameplay, really, just with totally different and new cards. Yeah, this looks about right, and then we cut all but one fatal push. We just board this the exact same way. Leave the edicts. Oh yeah, we cut Scavenge Trees maybe? No, we left it. 2 cards. What am I forgetting? Oh, the Trespassers, because they're awkward and we want to kind of smooth our curve out a little bit. Yeah. Alright. Try these. You also lost game 1 the first time as well, which I think is fair. Versus the control decks, you just have so many dead cards in your hand game 1. Ooh, this is pretty nice. Wonder if they can do us a favor and put a land in the graveyard. So again with the secret logic here, Deathrite Shaman on 1, Thoughtseize on turn 2, because there's nothing on the draw they can do on turn 1 that you want to Thoughtseize. And yeah, we will go ahead and fire this off. See what they have. Double Sensor, Discontinuity. Oh, they're like running low on lands. Like taking. I actually want to take a Sensor here because we just run into it head first as well. Alright. Getting a little custom. I'm gonna pass. Deathrite does more damage just going like DOEs do. Can be your end step, I'll allow it. The versatility of a Deathrite Shaman. We cast the Glisten into Sunslayer if the Sunslayer into the Sensor, because if they use it they can't cycle it. And if they use it now and have a land, we have the Chariot with no worries of Sensor next turn. The question is, did they hit land drops with either of their cards? Okay, Hallowed Fountain. Is this really going to be Sensor number 3? 2, 1. Land this. Chariot's pretty great. The getting to dress here would be nice, but we're going to get to take this to Ferry potentially. Anyway, which is the main problem card right now. A tracker for later. That's pretty good. Yeah, just kind of have to. This wants to do Deathrite Shaman things. Oh, they don't have a Wrath. They don't have a Wrath. They could find a Wrath. They have 2 colorless lands at the minute. I do love a good overextend for the They're on 16. If we play this, we can crew here, attack for 8. Yeah, okay. I'm a believer. They need to find a land for Safari and also a Wrath. They can find both those things. Possible. But you have the Hive to kind of fall back on a little bit. And with a good amount of our creatures that will crew the Chariot too. So, everybody with me now. One time, no verdict. Let's see. Look at it, 8. So a few attacks from Hive we'll put them in the bin as well. Proctor sounds like good news to me. Do they go for Proctor Field instead of go... Oh no. Again, they had Proctor. There. I mean, they obviously may well not have the option to. We'll run this back. Pretty happy with our configuration. I like the sideboard plan. Lose game 1, wins game 2 and 3. I mean, I doubt it gets way better. Like, we get to board out a pile of dead cards, bring in a bunch of pretty nice hand disruption and like decent like 2-for-1-ish like threats. So this is a bit of a different hand. We have the ability with with these to like get mana of the Deathrite. There's still a bit of a question of do we want to. I'm looking to 6. I found a Liliana. You just play the Deathrite out on 1. Work it out from there. We've not seen them like just like run out of Lotus Field. Oh, if only. If they just have it, pretty tough. Oh no. I was not prepared for that. Huh. It would have been less of a problem with Table Passage, but with the Riveters Outlook, it doesn't do anything until we get a random Realmbreaker in play, which might be our saving grace here. Another one is not what we want, though. Oh my gosh. No, that is okay. It's still not good. Do we go play skews out? We can at least make a Bankbuster. Okay. Oh dear. We want them to somewhat force in trap us a bit. Okay, didn't look like I have a veto. Maybe they have not much in terms of like counter spells or interaction on that plane. Oh, the Proctor is so annoying. hate tests. This is the saddest thing I've seen in a while. Okay. Oh, Swamp is kind of goated. You also make Realmbreaker. They have 6 mana open. They just play Discontinuity as a counter spell at this point, and that's pretty good. We can't afford to play around a lot. They have kind of everything that they want. Excuse me. If they have Jawari Disruption here, we can at least pay. Funny. But we'll see what they actually have. It is a discontinuity. Everybody. Oh dear. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was not prepared for it as outlook in Straight Proctor. I kind of just forgot that this would work like this. Because it is an enter the battlefield effect. Okay, we have answers for Teferi. It's not all over yet. But it is looking a little dire.
Keep up the pace.
No, it's that. Sure. There's 5 mana here. Good time to draw Thoughtseize. Let's see what's going on. Oh dear. No, we take you farewell because that answers like literally everything. Okay, that's actually not that bad. We can go Swamp here and then exiling this for either color of mana. Pretty solid. Take a black. Tear Asunder for take out Teferi, which limits the mana a bit, or a lot really. They can't at least double Memory Deluge here to get like all their cards back. They will have access to the 7 mana version next turn. They'll be a bit more limited at least. Okay. Okay. Thing. Yeah, the Fade there's not bad.
You know what? I'm not done.
It's basically free because it gets untap lands again. It's a bit of a time walk. Should have done this better. Double Straight Proctor. Okay. Okay, okay. Don't.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for answers.
You know, this one time.
We all have things we'd rather.
The reason I like discarding the Overlook is we can. Oh, ooh, they actually put the out. May as well get this. We might draw into Traverse. And play out the Scavenging Use. Okay. Alright. I need to be more careful about the Otawara. They can now like do this for 7 on their turn, then untap Plant Fairy. Bring your lights out. They can even do this for 7, play a Lotus Field, and then untap that with Fairy.
Hurry.
That'd be my favorite line. Yeah, that's been Sage good. Alright, we're at what, 25 minutes? I think this game might be lost. I'll be honest with you. 6. Doing this and not like waiting to play the land is agreed. Okay, they're taking the line that I would have done, but my line was slightly better. Because like if we hit the like taking 1 Lotus Field and like the four cards, it's still 2 cards. And fine. You still want to see the cards before you play. Anyway, all right. Yeah. They have other stuff they want to do. I'm gonna make him use the resources they have. There's so much nothing. Scavenging use at Teferi, please. You can miracle something here. I'll go.
Finally, I'm home.
Yeah, we did use up all our resources, right? Unless we could have maybe looked at Ether. Yeah. Yeah, sure. All these cards are just sick. Oh, if we tapped, if we left black open, could have ate this. As it is, this still does deny them cards at least. Alright, okay. Some intricacies here. So ignore the fact that they have these planeswalkers activated. Could also just up or down tick Liliana. Alright. I think that I've played enough of this matchup. I will see the next one. Alright, we're 1-1 against blue-white field. Alright. Okay. So we just played against blue-white field twice. To kind of mix things up a little bit, I've jumped into the best of 1 queue, just add a couple of quick games on to the end here. So hopefully showcase a couple of different matchups. Interesting. Opponent goes first. I'm going to keep this. Deathrite, Fable Passage. Maybe go turn 1 Thoughtseize. That is a Hinterland Harbor. What on earth does that mean? Let's Thoughtseize and then look to play Deathrite on turn 2. How? Help me. This is a different deck. It's a different deck, I swear. They still have discontinuity. Oh, I should have taken the discontinuity. The continuity. This is best of all, I just conceded it before. Get me out of here. Okay, they have Ugin they're going towards, but there's not actually, they didn't actually have that much else in terms of payoffs. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Fable Deck. Alright, go ahead. Slowly just losing my mind playing against Lotus Field decks. Look at this continuity here. That means then I'm gonna do this for that resolves. I want a green source. Anyway, pitch right, that's good. So ooh, we have an answer for Ugin at least. Already getting to pop off with Deathrite Shaman. Accelerate out a Tireless Track. That's good. I say accelerate out, but playing it a turn slow Oh, playing it on time, but with the ability to do it and a land drop to get the treasure. Really? Actually, Nissa is fine as long as I'm tapping Notice Field.
You will prevail.
Green, white. Unset.
The land fights for us.
That's annoying. I don't want them casting again, so I definitely want to cast this spell. Hey, look. We fatal push the Temple Garden. We are off to the races here. We are absolutely cooking. Each opponent sacrifices a Planeswalker. Okay. I can't believe this has happened. I switched queues, so I was like, oh, let's just play against something a little bit different. I want to showcase some different matches to the deck. Hey, I'm obviously going to include this because it's funny, but, and it is different. I'm surprised that if you're playing green, you get like Sylvan Scrying, some other stuff. Like, Bant is very real, in terms of, like, Lotus Field variants. Well, I'm sad to see less of the actual all-in version, but it makes sense to not see as much of it in Best of One, at least. We don't actually have a land to play with the Sightless Track here. We don't see the Wrath, so they're a couple of turns off of that. Just to make a second death, right? We need to get them dead pretty soon, because we don't have an answer for that. Like I said, we don't have an answer for the Yugen. Sightless Track is going to get attacked at some point, which is neat. Oh, for goodness sake. This interaction is one of my least favorite things in Magic right now. Let's add this. We could draw into... We've got a decent amount of removal spells to draw into here. Thoughtseize is pretty great. Not gonna lie. Just get rid of that. So if we play the Outlook now, we have to... Actual nightmare. We get no, because we need to pay for this thing, and then also get me out. Just let me go. Let my people go. One, 4. Okay. Let's make mana, make the Backbuster. I just can't. This is the least playable land in this matchup. Oh, okay. Yeah. We now have all the mana. This will make some sense. Still want to sacrifice a clue first? Yeah, if we just draw a removal spell for the strip prot to it, it starts being a problem. And I will tackle these because I don't do anything else. This time they block. Great. Okay, Deluge is dangerous. Top 4 cards. Let's fade one time, please. Well, twice, if ideally. Okay, one of the cards I picked was Sun Petal Grove. That makes me think we're in a good spot. Before I do anything, let's get this Overlook out of my hand while it doesn't cost 6 mana to let it do its thing. That'd be good. Grab Swamp. Alright, it is like the best land in the deck in a situation, except when they have a Strip Protector in play. You have to pay 6 mana for it to both not just sit there and play without having for mana, and also for the clues. So, hey. We're 11. 5. Alright. If this is a settler wreckage, I will cry and throw my toys at the frame. Okay. Alright. Well, I will try and play one more match of a different matchup. Let's go again. Alright. Alright, currently we're on a streak of 3 Lotus Field opponents in a row. It's over 3 matches and 2 separate keys. It's another best of 1 match that we've queued into to try and find an opponent playing something that does not start with the words Lotus Field. We played against Blue-White twice, went 1-1, and then we also beat Banfield in the best of 1. Worth noting that we did lose game 1 in both of the Blue-White matches. Alright, I'm just going to lead off with Deathrite. Okay, this is mono green. If they don't have an elf, ooh, we don't have tons of interaction. We should get them dead as fast as possible. We tap land here or later. If we play untap land here, we get like the scavenger goes out, sure. If we get tap land. Okay, sure. That's right. Actually, it does have some other unique like, interactions in the format. So, it exiles sorceries, instants, or creatures. Not battles. Big sad. Which means it doesn't like exile like some of the Greasefang stuff. It does exile some pretty nice things with flashback, and it does also, I think when you've got like dice triggers, things like Old Growth Troll, you can actually exile it with a trigger on the stack, I think, to eat it before it attaches, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We will, I guess, find out together, perhaps. Alright, another thing, if they had a Llanowar Elf start, this would look really good. The reveal of Ugin is, not what I was hoping for, if I'm being honest. Run out of the Tireless Tracker. Alright. So we've got some decent removal still, like if they have a creature draw. Yeah, the worst possible really is cure it into something. Let me just kill it. I really wish that we had a land. Can't allow them any. We have to basically interact with absolutely any interaction that we're actually able to. Like, we have the ability to kill the cure. We should do that because we've got no way to interact with like. If they have a Llanowar Elf start into these fatal pushes, we look really, really good. But once they actually get the mana in play, we just don't have great ways to interact with the amount of things and the power of the things that they're doing. Again, things like Ugin. They get to start casting Storm the Festivals. We're in a bit of danger. See what they have here though. They're on 14. You know. Everything's chill. No problem. Let's read the wording. When it was dies, if it was a creature, it turns to battle. Does this die? That's in the graveyard? I wonder. I really want to know. We actually just don't have a way to trigger it. Trigger Fatal Push anyway. Wild. This is looking a little dire. Oh, you dumbass. Okay. Remind me, I have a Misery Shadow literally in my hand. So, not forget about that again. Okay, so they had another land. If they're fine, if they have land 5 here into like Cavalier, especially if it's Nixos into Cavalier, we're in some trouble. Shadow like turns off with some of their abilities, but the creatures themselves are just like bigger than the creatures that we're playing with. And are too big for Fatal Push. We'll see though. 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's a Cavalier. Cavalier goes through Khan. It's a Storm the Vessel into the graveyard. Forest into play. Okay. Okay. That does give us food for the Deathrite Shaman, which is, you know, we like that. We like that. My turn. Oh, we hit land as well. Okay. Land triggers the Tireless Tracker. We want to get the Misery Shadow out before we kill anything because it stops the creatures dying. We don't have mana to sacrifice a clue and pay for and pay for Fatal Push. We're maybe sacrificing the Scavenger here. Let's eat the Storm the Festival. Make sure that's gone. I think that's a valuable thing to be doing anyway. Let it through. No way. They have mana. They should make a new gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7, 8, 9. Do you have any way to stop it? We could Fatal Push our own creature. How dumb am I being on a level of 1 to like 1,000? Yep. The answer is yep. I've not even done the math to see if this does enough. I think that's still enough with the land drop. 1, 2, activate for 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We are still playing a game of Magic right now. No, we're not.
The axiomatic structure of reality is surprisingly flexible. Do not ignore.
They have ticked up again instead of just minusing it, which makes me feel better personally. Let's say no. Yeah. This matchup gets better after the board. You have the Terra Sunders, you have the Casualties of War, other bits and pieces, but game 1 is pretty dire. Go ahead and get clued up here. Alright, yeah, nothing really doing. You kind of, to win game 1, you need to then like draw to line up. So ideally, you have Fatal Pushes into Llanowar Elves, and that's like the bit that you can of the deck that you can handle. Like again, we had an answer for Kiora, but once they get the mana in play, we just kind of get overran. That is gonna do. Alright, I'll see you in the wrap up. Alright, here was a bit of a wrap up. A bit of a wild ride. Win versus Blue-White Fields. Lost to Blue-White Fields. In some unfortunate circumstances. We switch over into best of 1 from best of 3. A win versus Bantfield, which is obviously the next step we queue into when we're trying to hit something else, and then a loss at the end there versus Mono Green, which I think is a more of a nature of best of 1 thing. We have some nice cards in our sideboard, like the Duresses there, and we have the Terra Sunders helping track with like the enchantment type stuff, and then also we have Extinction Event and Casualty. We got a bunch of cards to bring in there that are pretty great, and so it's a matchup where we get a lot better post board. But hey, best of 1 is best of 1. Overall, that performed pretty well. You got to see some Deathrite Shaman activity, which I've not seen really at all on Arena since the card's been added, which is sweet. It's like fairly solid. The problem really is that like if there was a good way to be able to leverage it to play 3 drops on turn 2, it would be fantastic. Unfortunately, there just isn't. But you can leverage 4 drops on turn 3, or like just multi-spell a bit. Messing with your opponent's graveyard pretty good. Like later on in the game, we didn't really see it there, but you can like drain your opponent out. It's quite nice. You interact with the creatures in opponent's graveyards. Again, ability didn't really come up just because of the matchups we played, but pretty solid. Like it did gain us some. Like, I've played more games versus Mono Red where it's just like absolutely just carried me through them. But hey, yeah. Tireless Tracker, my best friend. Still amazing. Hey, the derivatives outlook with the sub-product is absolutely miserable. I never want to have that experience in my life again, but it is a price that we must pay to kind of play the shell. There are a lot of options as well. Like obviously, like these cards like Thought Seeds, Fatal Push are great. This Traverse we didn't really do much with actually. Did we grab something with it? Oh, we did grab a Tireless Tracker with it, actually. There you go. But I think like one is like basically free. You can play it as a Lay of Land if you have to. The reason we're not playing multiples is because if you just... the idea of playing it for a multiple as a Lay of Land is bad. But if you have one, like, you're not, like... If you have it on your hand early, you're not likely to draw into another... You can't draw into another one. It basically means you can hold on to it and then wait till you've got Delirium active. Whereas if you have, like, multiples, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to draw, like, a bunch of Lay of Lands. Which is bad. But if you want to go more in on Delirium stuff, you can also go that way. But just not as in on putting stuff into your graveyard. The Planeswalkers were great. Ren was fantastic, actually. This surprised me how good it is. It also does tick up pretty fast. You go from 4 to 5 on the first turn, 6 to 7, and then turns to Ultimate. So against control decks, you can really, really punish them quickly, which has been great. Glister was good. It's kind of a must-kill thing, which is always awesome to have around. Obviously, Shieldred's been great. Esca's Chariot. I think 2's a good number. You can maybe pay 3 if you want to chop some stuff around here. We have a lot of 3-drops, though. You could cut down to 2 Tireless Trackers, but I'm a fan of the card, shall we say. And also, like, hey, we're playing all these effects. We may as well take advantage of that. And it lets us kind of cash extra lands we draw into cards. Pretty good. Oh, on that note, like, the red-black deck gets to kind of, like, loot away extra lands with Fable. You don't really get to do that here, and so, like, the Tireless Tracker gives us a nice way to just keep drawing cards. Removal spells, pretty solid. Like, the one Misery Shadow has been, I think, pretty good. Has been pretty good overall in my testing before recording the video as well. And hey, again, the Scavenging Ooze, just like another hedge towards Greasefang. You got a pretty decent number of things to interact early, and yeah, all in all, pretty good. Again, some like ways you could tinker around and customize things. I thought about, like, you could play like Nissa, the Resurgent Animist, the 3-mana like creature Nissa that like is a Lotus Cobra effect, so when a land into the backfield out of mana. But then also, like, you can play like a 1 or 2 like elemental package to like grab. There's some interesting things I think you could like go for there maybe, which sounds kind of sweet. Didn't end up going that way here. Again, like I talked a little bit about like Titania and Storev. There's other ways to go. Storev is probably a bit too cute, but the Titania package is something you can go more in on. There's also I have a black-green kind of lands deck from quite a while back that plays the 4-mana black card that when a swamp enters the battlefield, it does damage or draws cards. It's pretty awesome. It lets you do things like Dryad of the Elysian Grove as well. That's also another way you could take this, outside of the more just like straight up mid-rangey package. But yeah, deck is super super fun. Would recommend. It's a nice way to use your Deathrites if you have them. If you were one of the few people that bought the bundle. And yeah, sideboard has also been, I think, pretty good. Like our sideboard plan versus blue-white was very, very solid. Like, we've got a good number of things, like, versus aggro. We just want to, like, hey, we've got a good removal main deck, just some extinction events to shore things up. Maybe a little light on Graveyard Hate, but with, like, 2 Ray of Enfeeblements and 2 Unlicensed Sciences, I feel, like, decent about it. Greasefang's obviously the main culprit there, but hey, and the Terra Sunders can do work. You can exile Bohemian, etc. So, pretty happy with how everything went. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like, subscribe, all that stuff. Share it about. That'd be really awesome. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a great day.